You're watching Ramping Up Your English, a source of help for intermediate English learners who want to improve their English skills. Now, if that's you, you're in the right place. We take a content-based approach to elevating English proficiency. Our current unit is Animals. This is segment 3 of episode 65. In the past 2 episodes, we've explored the physical adaptations of animals. The source I used for the examples included the wildlife cards we use for other sections of the animal reports. If you have access to these cards, you'll find they have most information you need to research and report on your animal of your choice. Now, if you don't have access to them, here are some other good sources. I recommend an encyclopedia. Now, before you complain that these are such old school, you're likely to find information about your animal's physical adaptations. There's also Wikipedia. This source has improved considerably over time, and when a fact needs a source, it's pointed out by the words citation needed. Wikipedia is a good starting point for your research. A book about the animal you're researching is likely to have a great deal of information needed for your report. Some sources may organize this information under the heading of adaptations, but it's also likely to be found under anatomy or other sections of the article. Just keep in mind while reading that adaptations are the physical traits of an animal that give it an advantage to surviving the conditions of its environment. Now, I realize that for many viewers, this project may be demanding. Like children from a different language background in school, you're learning science and learning a new language at the same time. It's important to allow yourself mistakes while taking these risks. Watch this video where you'll meet someone who has learned 4 languages, but that's not to say they always came out smoothly.
What level of English would you need to host a TV show? Dr. Krishna Gokani produces and hosts 2 TV shows on RVTV. English is his 4th language, yet that's the language he uses for programs about health and meditation. In an earlier interview, Dr. Gokani shared how he felt ashamed of his low English proficiency when he had to speak English in a medical setting. Like many English learners, he experienced negative reactions at times from native English speakers. But that didn't stop him from taking the risks of using a new language.
Have you ever had anyone, give you, interact negatively with you because of your limitation in the language?
That I can tell you, when I started working as a doctor, my first job in Mumbai, that time it was called Bombay, and hospital's name was St. George Hospital, and all nurses speak fluent English. And as a doctor, I started there, but I could not speak one sentence perfectly. Though I knew I can write essays of 10 pages, but spoken language I didn't have. I felt so ashamed that how can I be a doctor in front of nurses? They laugh, when you cannot utter or you cannot reply in English one full sentence. That was the first time.
Despite the embarrassment of making mistakes in English, he not only persisted in developing his skills as a doctor, he improved his English and learned other languages as his medical practice demanded.
Everybody has to face this situation, but overcome with confidence and just perseverance. That you have to, I tell you, 2 more languages I had to learn when I went to practice in Africa, in Kenya. There was a Swahili. Oh. I didn't know anything, but most of my patients, I can say 98% of the patients will speak in Swahili. And then my secretary will interpret in English. I speak in English, he will interpret in Swahili to the patient. That's why I had to learn this African language. Then time came that tourists mostly came from Germany, and beaches in Kenya, in Mombasa especially, where I practice, so beautiful. So they started coming in bulk, special charter flights and all. And as patient, I didn't know German. I had to do evening classes for 6 months. I at least started speaking and understanding the German language. So, language is an asset and it makes you more smart, and your brain has got a different communication and learning area where you feel yourself so much happy, In medical school, books were in English, but only thing, the speaking was the problem.
Yeah.
We understand, we write, as I told you earlier, but speaking, there was a fear that I can't speak.
Yes, and I think that's where the biggest risk is, I think, in a language,
Yeah.
is when you're actually putting it on your tongue.
Yeah.
And it's not always going to come out right. That's the thing I try to encourage my listeners. Don't look for 100% accuracy.
Yes.
Don't look for perfection. Look for, are you communicating? Are you getting your ideas across?
I give you a good example. When I went to England, I had a 3-year-old daughter. Now, she didn't know a single word of English. And the children, our doctor's campus, other children were speaking English. So she was playing with them, and she was with the gesture, with our language, she will reply, they will speak in English. And in 15 days, she started speaking English.
That's great.
Not as grammatically perfect, but she could understand and she could make other people understand. But in 15 days, so that daring, like a child, you must have, because you have got the same capacity, whatever age you are, you have got the same capacity, only your intention and effort is needed.
So let's be like the little child and dive right into the language. Mistakes can be stepping stones to greater proficiency. And who knows, maybe your English will go strong enough to host a TV show. I'd love to know how it's going for you. You can get in touch with me. Send an email to letscreatepro@gmail.com. Visit my website, letscreate.org, for all the support materials for this episode. Just navigate to the episode 65 page. You can watch and even download all episodes of Ramping Up Your English at archive.org/details/RogueTV. Use the search box by entering Ramping Up Your English. You'll also find all the episodes there. Ramping Up Your English can be seen in Ashland on Channel 15 of the Ashland Home Network and in the rest of Southern Oregon on Charter Cable 182. Showtimes are 8 a.m. on Mondays and 7:30 p.m. on Thursdays. Visit rvtv.sou.edu for free live streaming. Showtimes will vary in different areas. Check your local public access and education stations. I want to thank my director, Denise Ross, and my talented and loyal crew, and I want to thank you, our viewers. All of you help make this program an award winner. Join us next time for Ramping Up Your English. I'm John Letz.
You've been watching Ramping Up Your English, a support program for intermediate level English language learners. Learn more. Visit our website at letscreate.org. You can also watch or download today's program at archive.org/details/RogueTV. Join us next time on RVTV Voices for Ramping Up Your English.